So my first question, or our first question to you, would be, how did you come up with this idea of 100% merit-based scholarship? What was your vision behind it? Basically, what did you have in your mind when there was already other scholarships that existed?
Yeah. So the idea is actually it is related to, we have 5 values that we have recently kind of finalized, and if you remember, the second value is the value of excellence, right? A very important part of being, kind of living this value of excellence is meritocracy. Yeah. So this whole idea of the merit scholarship is, shall I say, a demonstration of living our value. And hence, we want to demonstrate that by offering students who are meritocratic an exemption from the tuition fee. These are in some ways symbolic of what we want to strive for in future, all right? So that's really the basis of this decision and this initiative.
We just believe that we all are really different from each other, and we were trying to understand the parameters which were used to finalize our applications. So can you just give us an overview of what all qualities or parameters you look for in the students?
There is a shall I say, a very quantitative basis of selecting a group of students who are in the shortlist, so to speak. And this obviously included your entire academic kind of journey, how you excelled in school and college, We obviously wanted to also include your work experience because when you're coming to do MBA, I honestly believe that it helps to have a work experience. So it's no coincidence that all of you have work experience of different degrees, so to speak. One very, very important selection criteria was the statement of purpose that you wrote, right? Because we also want to make sure that people who are getting this scholarship have some very clear ideas of what they want to do with their life, where they want to go, how they want to use this platform to kind of achieve your own life goals. So that was a very, very critical kind of an input in making this decision. And last, of course, you remember that all of you faced an interview with me and a couple of other panelists. So, each of you, I remember we had conversations of maybe 30 to 45 minutes, maybe even more. And the whole objective of that was to really understand, one is how different you are from the others, right? Do you have that very, very clear thinking about where you want to go? Do you have the passion for excellence? A lot of the questions that I asked or we asked was, trying to kind of evaluate your own passion for excellence or fire in the belly, so to speak. And congratulations to all of you. I think you really stood out, and and that's how you are here.
You found us worthy. I think we all are really thankful for this opportunity.
Yeah.
So I remember in my interview, I was very honest, and you had asked me something about, how you want to get into marketing, how will you brand KJ Somaiya? And I gave you a very general answer initially, and I said, along with that, we also need to make sure that we make our college better. And I pointed a few things out, and you said, these are some areas of improvement. And I remember it was never a dynamic when we were talking about, that I am giving you this scholarship, so you better be good. It was the other way around. It was like, I feel that you have something in you that I want to acknowledge and I want to appreciate, and thus I will be giving you the scholarship. You were so calm during that time, and you were actually a listener, and I really thought I will not get the scholarship because I was so honest. But I appreciate the fact that, you did that. So when other people also come in, for the same thing, and if anybody ever gets, again, shortlisted for this in the next year, I really want them to know that Raman sir is a person who will actually listen to you. He cares about his students and he wants to know their opinion, and it's very easy to approach him. You approach him in a hallway and you can ask him like hundreds of questions, and he will always answer it with a very composed and with a smile. You always have a smile on
Thank
his
you,
face.
thank you for that. And it's very important because you are a very important stakeholder. In other words, in the business terms, you are our customer, right? You are here for 2 years. You have invested money, time, to expect the transformation in your life, and if we don't hear from you, we are not doing justice, right? So
Was there any weightage specifically on the factors? So you mentioned a lot of factors before, specifically being our academical background, or maybe if we have work experience or any sports experience. So is there any sort of weightage on these factors that are important in this hiring process, or is it just all equal and distributed?
So there was some weighting factor, right? But the weighting factors are largely to lead you to this, the final shortlist, right? But I think beyond that, it was really the conversation that we had, because the differences in the academic performance of most of the shortlists were not very different.
If you could recall, what is it that you liked in each one of our interviews, something that stood out for you and you said, oh, and that kind of a factor?
I think, Simran, with you, I think it was clearly, I still remember that you were very, very frank when you gave us the feedback, right? How you were quite critical, and I was kind of, saying, first year student, quite bold and being able to share this, that calls to be, recognized, right? And, but each one of you had something different.
So you just mentioned how we should not be judgmental. Like that's how you were with our interviews, I believe. You were so keen about understanding us. So you just wanted to know more. So I could really beautifully connect to this, because I remember when I was in JP Morgan, we used to have one of those sessions with our leaders.
Yeah.
So Jamie Dimon mentioned this part, how it's very important for the other person. You need to give them that space to emerge out. So I believe that's what you gave us, that space where we feel comfortable and we are able to express ourselves better. So I think we need to thank you for that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So there were two, when I had signed up for KJ Somaiya, after the admission process, there was one form that had rolled out, which was called as financial aid. So how is financial aid different from like maybe merit-based scholarship, or what is the agenda of that financial aid form?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a great question. So like I said, the merit scholarship is living our value of excellence, right? The financial aid is recognizing that this world is full of inequity, and there are people who, because of financial constraints, etc., are probably not able to, really do what they would like to do and what they are capable of doing. And that's the whole basis of the financial aid. And of course, KJ Somaiya and Somaiya Vidya Vihar, as a university, we have allocated substantial resources for enabling students who are financially constrained. So for example, the government declared, benchmarks economically weaker section are people who have an annual salary of 8 lakhs and lower, right? So, and we have a lot of students who come to study who have this, and the financial aid essentially provides them, financial aid in the form of tuition free and other forms, and it can range anywhere from perhaps about 15-20% all the way up to 80% exemption. And right now in KJ Sim, we have about 50 students who are availing of the financial aid as well. So that's a different purpose, right? And I think it really helps students who otherwise would not get this opportunity to really do their MBA and be successful.